Good afternoon. My name is Chantel Lacey, and I'm going to demonstrate the skill of applying a sterile field using a sterile package drape, as well as applying a dry and wet product onto the sterile field, and then I will don and remove sterile gloves. So let's begin. First, my table is not waist height. It's a little bit below my waist, so I'm going to have to tilt the camera so that you guys can see what I am attempting to demonstrate. So just bear with me in this recording, and we're going to get started. And the first thing I am going to do is I'm going to perform hand hygiene with soap and water, or using a micro foam hand cleanser. So you're going to see me do that, and I'm going to talk through this as I go. So let's get started. I'm just tilting my camera down so that you guys can see the table that I'm working on and be able to get all the demonstration of the sterile field. Hopefully the lighting in my kitchen is not horribly bad. So yeah. All right, let's see. So first we have the sterile drape that's packaged. The sterile gloves, which I think is a size too small for me. A dry packaged dressing, normal saline water, and then a sterile container to put it in. And I have scissors to open the pack for the bowl. So to make sure everything's out of my way, including my mouse, and I'm not touching anything with the sterile dressing, I'm going to first start with the sterile drape, pulling it apart. Open it. I'll leave that there. The outside is going to push the corners, pinch the corners, because the outside is the non-sterile side, and I did perform hand hygiene, as I mentioned. I'm going to lift it up, let it fall. I think I'm going to wiggle it open a little. I'm going to lay it out. So now we have a sterile field. And the 1 inch perimeter or 2 inch perimeter of the thing is non-sterile, the border. I'm now going to apply the sterile gauze. I'm trying not to reach over the sterile field. So basically, I'm going to peel this open and let it fall. Next, I'm going to apply the sterile bowl. And I basically had to cut it open with scissors because there's nowhere to rip it. Still trying not to reach over the sterile field. And I'm just going to push this out without touching the bowl or the field. I'm just using the plastic. Next, I'm going to pour in my wet, the normal saline solution. I'm going to pour it in the sterile bowl that I have, and I'm going to have the label of the normal saline in my palm to avoid it from getting wet. When I pour it, I'm going to twist the cap off. I'm going to be 6 inches above the sterile container when I pour this. And I'm going to make sure I don't get any on the sterile field. So this is about 6 inches. And I'm just going to pour it without splashing. All right. I'm going to put the cap back on the normal saline. And then I would date the time, the day, and my initials of when this was open in case it has to be used again. Set that to the side. Now that I've demonstrated how to do the sterile field, I'm now going to go into applying my sterile gloves, and I'm going to remove my sterile field because this field has ended with the wet and dry application of 2 items. So I'm going to go into donning my sterile gloves, and I'm just going to move this out the way for time's sake. Now you're going to see me don the sterile gloves. I'm going to have the package. I'm going to pull the package apart. Okay. And the outside package is non-sterile. So I can pick that up. I'm going to have the cuff end facing me. I'm going to open the package, touching only the border, which is 2 inches. I'm going to grab underneath this border, pull the border down, towards me, away from me. I'm going to open the package, pulling it, and it is going to want to revert back to folding method. And I'm only touching the 2 inches around because that is non-sterile. So I'm going to don my dominant hand first using my left hand, and I'm going to have my fingers down, my thumb in, and I'm going to touch the cuff. Hopefully I can fit these because I am a size 8. So I'm wiggling it in, pulling, keeping my hand on the cuff, basically pinching. And I'm going to pull it up as far as I can, keeping it sterile above my waist and only touching the cuff part that is non-sterile. Now I'm going to attempt to don, this is very tight, don my non-dominant hand, which is my left hand, and I'm going to go underneath the cuff because this is a sterile glove. And I'm gonna go underneath this cuff. I'm gonna use my non-dominant hand also to raise this cuff so that I can get my sterile hand in the inside of the cuff that's forwarded. I don't know if y'all can see that. So this is how I'm going to leave my right thumb out. Then I'm going to take my left hand and I'm going to place my fingers inside of this one, leaving this thumb out until I get my fingers inside. This is very tight. Now I'm going to insert my thumb, pull. Now, they're sterile. I'm above waist. Now I can touch sterile to sterile, and I'm going to adjust the gloves to fit comfortably because I'm touching a sterile with a sterile. And now you have donning of sterile gloves. And to keep them sterile, my hands are above my waist, sterile together. That way I can avoid touching non-sterile items such as the patient, my face, the table, anything that I may need. So now I have sterile to sterile, above waist, in a sterile environment. Now to remove sterile gloves, and if they're soiled, so we're gonna pretend like they're soiled, you will pinch the cuff, pull it down, invert it, go underneath this cuff, and there you have it. So that is me showing the skills of a sterile field, applying a wet and dry product to a sterile field, and donning and removing sterile gloves. So thank you for your time. And I'm back. Sorry you didn't have my face the whole time, but hey, I'm working in a low spot. So see you next time. Thanks.